Good morning. Welcome back to Open Hand Farm. If you're new here, I am so happy to have you. Today, I'm just gonna go through my house. I decorated for Christmas, but I have to tell you, we have so many things going on right now that I did not have time to go whole hog decorating, and I really like a more simple decorating instead, like with nature and things like that. I'm not a Santa Claus snowman kind of person. I just want to kind of focus on the birth of Jesus and the natural things that God has given us. So I'm gonna show you a sign here behind me. I'm just gonna dress it up a little bit, and this is basically how I have decorated. I've gone through the house and just added greenery, and it's surprising how Christmassy or wintry it looks. So let's go make this sign look a little bit more like Christmas. I went outside and I cut some sprigs from my pine tree, and I thought I would use them to kind of Christmas up this area. I do have these little birds that I made several years at Christmas time out of old songbooks, and I love them so much that I just leave them up all the time. And I do have a video for how to make these. They are really sweet, especially in the Christmas season. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to pick up some of these twigs, and I'm going to stick them behind this picture. Now, normally I would worry about, can the sprigs of this be seen from behind the picture? And we do have windows right here, but recently I made curtains out of drop cloths to just kind of block off this part of the window, because we get a lot of activity. We're on a busy street and you can constantly see the coming and going. So I decided, it only took me 6 years to decide to do this. I put curtains up, and it has really made a big difference, as well as it just makes it cozier in here. So I know that those sprigs are not going to show from the other side. Even though that is our entry area, I don't have to worry about people seeing the sprigs behind the sign when they come in. So I'm just going to keep adding them. And they kind of all just lay different ways, and that's great. I love that about it. Now I'm going to go over to the other side and just kind of fill it out with one more. That looks so much more Christmassy to just have that evergreen appearance. And these will last a lot longer than you think before they dry out. I will actually leave them there probably all winter long, because it's not just Christmassy, it's also just winterish. Down here on this table, I have this little riser that I made out of a picture frame. I just took some paint sticks and put in it and added some wooden balls for the feet, and it has a candle on it, but it's kind of boring looking. So we're gonna make it look like winter Christmas as well. We're just gonna take a couple of these twigs and place them here, and we have an instant centerpiece. Now, obviously, some of this greenery is hanging over the candle, so I would not light these candles. Pine trees are very flammable, so you do not want to light the candles, but it makes it look really pretty. So now this area is decorated for Christmas, and it only took like 2 minutes. Let me show you how I cut and cleaned the pine before I brought it in here. So we have these kind of lower lying branches, so I don't mind taking these off. I have ratcheting pruners, which means it kind of starts cutting and then you can kind of pump it and it keeps cutting through. And I did probably normal clippers would do this as well. So I just find a piece that I want. So I'm going to go with this nice big piece that I could use. This is about the size of what I cut to go behind my picture. And now I'm just going to look at it. And I see some dead leaves, so I'm going to pull those out because I don't want to take those in and have them falling all over the floor. I see some dead pine needles. I see several of them that are dry on here. So I'm gonna just pull all the dry pine needles off. I don't need to carry those in my house as well. Then also, if I decided I really wanted more stem and I didn't want all of this because it's, as you can see, it's only on the top and not on the bottom, then I'll just go ahead and pull all those off while I'm outside and throw them down. And that way I have a nice stem. I still have that same look over here a little bit further, so I want to kind of bring it up so that I have a fuller look at the bottom. I still have some dead ones, so I'm just going to pull those out. More dead ones here. Now, some of these have like little baby pine cones that are starting. That one I will leave, but some of them had more like a seedling type thing that was soft and hanging off. So those I just pulled off because I didn't want those to fall apart in the house as well. I'm seeing some more dead leaves. I'm gonna pull those out. Okay, and I think this one looks really nice and is ready to go in. So some of you are new to Open Hand Farm, so you don't know that we just got a puppy about 2 weeks ago. She is doing so well, but she loves being outside. So while I was out here working, I had Mark bring our little playpen out that we had for our grandchildren. So let me show you. She's been in here having a good time. Hey, Elsie. Hey, girl. You've been playing and having a good time? She likes to jump and eat the leaves and sticks. As you can see on her mouth, she's been digging around. Yeah, you're a good girl, aren't you? Okay, let's all go inside. I'm just going to show you some more ways that I use the pine. I have these really long tables. I have 2 of them that I put together. We host Bible study and our community coffees and dinners and stuff on them. So I wanted to decorate them with my manger scene that I have that people have given to me. So I decided to go ahead and put the shepherds down here, the wise men down there, and then Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus in the middle. And it just makes for a nice full table of decoration, yet not totally full. And again, just simple with the pine around them. And I like to face things in different directions on a table. So he's facing that way, they're kind of facing this way. Mary and Joseph is kind of hard to turn and twist, but the shepherds can be seen from both sides, some facing that way, some facing this way. And that way everybody at the table gets to enjoy them. Here's our Christmas tree. I put it up on a box this year because I knew we were going to have a new puppy and I didn't want it to be bothered. So it also makes it higher up in the room and we enjoy that. There's quite a variety of things on there. I have a little red truck and red camper that belonged to my dad, and he gave them to me before he passed away. He absolutely loved them. Like, he would full out laugh just looking at them. He liked them so much. And I like them almost as much, if not more, because they remind me of him laughing. So I decided instead of just putting them next to each other here, they would be kind of flat sitting there. So I added a box and put the camper on top of it. And as you can see, I put greenery around them, which kind of just brought them to life. And I have one more, the one that I just got. I'm going to go ahead and stick in here. because I felt like I needed a little bit more right here. And I like that much better. Now it looks like they are in the woods camping instead of just plain old sitting on a floor. On this side of the room where we have our fireplace, I don't have a lot over here because of the fireplace and also because we have our dog kennel here, which means she is around here. Mark is babysitting, keeping her quiet so that I can do this video. She decided she wanted to bark once I started talking. But we do have over here a Hoosier cabinet, and in this old bowl, I just went ahead and added some greenery, and it just makes it look more Christmassy. And then over here, I just have this table that has like a little vignette sitting on it, just some old containers of sorts. And again, I just added some greenery to dress it up and make it look a little bit more alive. And then over here, we have a Christmas tree, just a small one that's in a wagon. So the wagon that this tree is in belonged to my father-in-law. He was a newspaper boy when he was younger. He came from a family that really had nothing, and he was determined to be such a good worker, and he always was. But it started with his newspapers. He won this wagon at the age of 12 to 14, we're not sure, by winning a subscription contest, and he was very proud of this wagon. I could just see him pulling them down the street in his wagon as he was delivering them. He would be 107 today, so it's an old wagon. Now, the little carolers that are in the wagon, my mother-in-law made. When she was younger, she would get together with some friends and they would do some crafting. And it's funny to even think about, because when I met my mother-in-law, she was 60 and wasn't really doing much crafting, but apparently in her younger years she did. So when she passed away, I decided to bring these carolers home with me, and I just love them. Now this table right here is my grandchildren's crafting table. They like to color and cut and use stickers and Play-Doh or whatever. So on this table, on a tray so that they can be moved out of the way, we have a wooden manger scene set that I made when my son, who is 29 this year, was about 6 months old. So they have been played with quite a bit and really enjoyed, and I can't wait for the kids to come on Friday and see that they're out and watch them act out the Christmas story. Now I'm gonna go downstairs because I have another crafty thing that I wanna do, and I thought you might like to do it with me. Okay, Mark is going to show you what I'm going to be painting because it was his crafty to start with. So, show them what it is first of all. So, it's a Christmas tree made out of yardsticks. There's a reason for that. So, I'll let him explain that because he can tell you how to make this if you're interested. I'm just going to paint it. Go ahead.
And you're going to get rid of all the yardstick markings.
I am, because I don't, yeah.
Okay, about a week ago, we had a program at our church, and I was in charge of having something for the kids to do while the adults were doing their thing. And I thought, let's do a Christmassy craft. In doing a Christmassy craft, I wanted to make this Christmas tree with strips of wood. And I thought, I could make those strips of wood on my table saw, but it would be so much easier just to use yardsticks. And then I had this other idea, because that's not a real, spiritual craft, right? So let me tell you where we go. Okay, here's how you make this thing. It's really pretty simple. You take one yardstick. It does not have to be from Menards, but that's where mine's from. I kind of like the fact that the markings are green. And then using 45-degree angles at each end, and they got a point in, so it's a trapezoid, I think. You cut first a piece that's, let me see, it's 11 inches on the longest side. And then this one is roughly, I can't even see the break, 9 inches on that side. You can probably guess this one here is going to be 7 inches, and then 5 inches, and then 3 inches. So they just go down by 2. Now, you can see the bottom here isn't real even, and I kind of like that, but you could do a little bit of adjustment. I laid these down face down, I mean, this being the face, down on a workbench, put some glue down the middle, and then slapped a nice piece of 1x2 along the back. Had to be real careful to make sure I got glue on all of these slats coming out, because it was some of them don't have a lot, but that glue's strong. I use like Tight Bond wood glue. Okay, just to be clear, they are the only glue for the green part of the tree is right along here behind this piece of wood. They're not glued together between the edges, between the slats, and then screwed a little chunk of whatever that is, 1x4, onto the bottom. Just zip, 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 cut them. I had to make 12 of these. That's why I got real, like industrial. And then I screwed this because I thought, it's not a lot of contact there, and it might get hit. It might break off a little more easily. It probably would be fine if it were glued. So here's the sample, all decorated. We brought some yarn, and we brought some little stick-on jewels that are little Christmas balls, and a star. I mean, there were more than one star, and you could do a lot of other things too. But right here is the thing that's the excuse. I mean, the perfectly good pre-planned reason I had for using the yardsticks, and that is only Jesus measures up. Yeah, and it was the idea that of all the birthdays you could celebrate, there's one that is the most important one. And so the kids enjoyed it. We didn't hate it. And we ended up with a whole lot of them left over. So Penny's going to paint some of them. I would just say one more thing. If you decide to try this, you might want to lay it out and kind of think about how the cuts are going to be. I ended up with a couple of them. Here's one that ended up with a nice Menards barcode on them. I would make sure I was not cutting that. You end up with a little extra with these sizes from the yardstick. And I would probably try to make all of my inch markers be on the same side, on the outside. But you just have to, you wouldn't be able to cut it in order. But there you go.
If you're going to paint them, it doesn't matter.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so that is my contribution.
So now I get to play and be crafty. Okay, I have a flat interior white paint, nothing special. I just happen to have it on hand. Give it a good shake. I haven't used this in a long time, so I'm hoping it's usable. Yeah, looks great. Okay, so I am just going to take a brush and start brushing this. Nothing special. I'm not even going to cover up holes or cracks or anything like that. I'm just going to go for it. And I will do the front and the back. And I think one coat is going to get it for what I am going to be doing with it. I just had this thought, and I had the trees sitting here, so why not do something with them? Okay, as you can see, this is not a big job. It goes pretty quickly. You do want to just make sure that you don't have any running paint anywhere, because that would not look good with the technique. I'm going to do a technique on this when I'm done, and you just don't want runs, thick runs that would kind of ruin that technique. Okay, I'm just gonna go back through, make sure I don't have any running anywhere. And I am gonna kind of do it a little thicker over these green lines. There we go. Now you are welcome to sand this, do whatever you want. Maybe you want yours to look a little bit more perfect, but I'm good with very basic. So I just need to do the top here, get that part done, and we're good to let it dry. And I'll go ahead and paint a couple more, and when they're all dry, we'll come back. Okay, it's time for the next step that I'm gonna do on this. Of course, you could just leave them plain like this, and that would be great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use a clear wax and go over it, get down in all the crevices, and that's the important part about this, because I'm gonna do something else that I want that wax to be there to help me with the next step. And you can paint the bottom of yours. I didn't. I was noticing that I should have. It would just look nicer, especially if you're going to give them as a gift or something. Okay, I'm going to make sure I get my wax on everywhere. Okay. And now I'm going to wipe my wax off. Kind of buff it off. And it won't matter as much on the back. So if you don't want to wax the back, you don't have to, but I just thought I would while I was at it. Okay, now the next step is I'm going to use a dark wax. Now the reason I put the light wax on first is because I want to be able to remove some of this dark wax, and that will make it easier. I'm going to go in the lines where the boards were connected and on the edges. And then where it connects to the other boards. Now again, if you want to go ahead and do the back, you can. I'm not. Okay, so now I'm going to take my cloth and I'm going to kind of blend that wax in. And that's why I used the clear wax first, so that I could move this wax around. If I had just put it on the paint, it would have just sat there. It wouldn't have done anything. But with doing the clear wax first, I can maneuver where I want that wax to be. And if you feel like you took off too much, put some more back on and do it again. It's no big deal. And I did not get the edges here, and I wanted to do that. I want it to be a little bit darker right in here. I don't want to put a lot of wax on there. I want it to show the lines of the tree though. See how it's darker right there? I want to keep that. I am just like very, very lightly rubbing this wax, like barely touching the wood. Now, if you're thinking, well, I don't have a saw, I can't really do this project, You could probably cut these with an X-Acto knife if you make a couple of cuts through it. If you have a spot that's too brown, you're like, I really want that a little bit lighter. Now, I am not getting a seam at all right here. So I'm gonna really kind of dig that down in. I think it's just glued so well right there that I'm just not going to get a line. So I'm gonna kind of force one to be there by not removing all of the wax. There. I've got a little line there now. Perfect. That's what I wanted. You just got to be patient and work with it. I might want this a little bit darker here as well. So I'll just kind of work it into that wood and then very lightly go up to that crack, but not erase what's in there. That's better. There. I'm happy with that. So there's my tree. I'm just going to leave it like this. You maybe want to make some little twine bows to glue on it, or use some jute to kind of come around it like garland, or whatever else you want to add. I just like simple, so I'm going to leave it like this. Now let's see where I could put something like this and how to make it look even better. This is one of my favorite pieces of furniture that my daughter gave me, and I went ahead and went out while these were drying and cut some more greenery, and I'm just going to slide this tree into that greenery, and there you go. I love it. This actually fell off of the branch, so I think I might just slide it right here next to the tree to kind of bring the pine and the tree together. And there you go. We have a Christmas tree, very simply made, as well as some free cut greenery. Thank you so much for coming along with me today. It's been a lot of fun doing some painting and some simple decorating that really makes a big change. Something as inexpensive as going out and cutting some limbs off your trees. Just look around and see what you have in your yard that might be interesting in an arrangement. And of course, what could be less expensive than making a Christmas tree out of a yardstick? That's not that much either. I hope you have enjoyed the simplicity of my decorating this year. And I like the fact that it is winter decorating, not Christmas decorating. So I don't have to rush to take it down. I will probably leave a lot of it up until spring when I decide to change things up for then. Thanks again for coming along, and I have a few pictures for you to look at of the different vignettes, and I hope you have a blessed week, and if you're decorating, have fun with it. And until next time, blessings on you and yours.